What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kiana and I am a full-time reseller. I go by Redemptive Resell here on YouTube, and if you like reselling content, definitely subscribe and consider liking this video. Today I will be showing you guys how we SKU and store all of our clothing. So if you are interested in that, keep watching and I will give you some tips and tricks on how we do it. Definitely not perfect. I don't think there's any perfect way to store clothing and have over 3,000 items put away in a perfect way. But this is how we do it, and this has worked well for us for the past 3 or 4 years. So if you want to learn how we do it, keep watching. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is how we store our clothing. So we store them in these plastic bins. We get these at Walmart or Target. They are only like $7, and they're just like the small size, not the small size, but I guess average size plastic bins. And then all of our bins have 30 items in them. So this is a pretty big number. Number one's all the way on the other side of the garage. And we are currently up to, I think, 4,400. So every bin has a corresponding number sheet that goes with it. You can get these off Amazon. The name brand is Avery. You don't have to. I think they're a little bit cheaper if you just get like Amazon 30 sheet labels. There's a 30 number label sheet. So this one is 1891 through 1920. Like Avery Label, the company Avery Label's website, they have templates you can use in order to make the labels. So that's what I do. I make the labels and then I downloaded them and then I print them myself. You could also have Avery print them for you, or I believe eBay has SKUs that you can order on their shipping supplies or store supplies store. I'm not positive about that, but I've seen other resellers do that. So you can always look into that as well. We like this because it's 30 items per tote, 30 items per sheet. Sometimes the totes do still get too full as well, but we still make it work. As you can see, this one is overflowing right now, but once we sell a couple items out of it, everything will fit. I just have to make sure if I'm gonna put some bigger items in there, I also have to put some smaller items, so stuff maybe that would go in a bag like this. If I'm gonna have something like this is a big shacket, so it's taking up quite a bit of space in this tote. But because I was able to put some smaller items in there as well, I was still able to fit 30 items in there. Alright, so the second thing I'm going to show you guys is how we pull the order. So every time we sell something, a clothing item, it has a SKU on it. All of our items have SKUs on it, but the clothing is going to have a number SKU and a specific number SKU, whereas some of our other items just have a tote SKU. So maybe one tote is called G1 and there's like 20 items in that tote, and so we have to dig through it, whereas with our clothing, every item has a SKU, which has been super nice. We used to do our clothing the same as like our other things, so maybe we'd have a tote that said L2 for like leggings 2, like a second tote of leggings, but our clothing would just end up in a ball because we tried to fold it, but it just ended up in a mess. So since we started doing the bags, it's been so helpful, and we never get, rarely ever get an item pulled wrong. Luke usually is the one to fill the orders, and I'm usually the one listing I'm always the one listing the clothing. So he doesn't always know exactly what the item is, but he can tell what the SKU is very easily. So if there's 2 items that are really similar in there, sometimes I'll even have 2 items that are the same thing but they're different sizes, and so those are going to have different numbers. So yes, doing the plastic bags and the numbers has been super helpful. I'm going to show you how we pull an order. So we just sold these Levi's wedgie straight jeans today, and it is SKU number 1309. So let's go ahead and go pull that, and I'll show you guys exactly how I go about doing it. All right, so the SKU is 1309, so I'm looking for 13, and it looks like it's gonna be in this tote and right here. And these I actually think were returned, and I just relisted them last week and they sold again. So that is why it has Sharpie written. I just rewrite when stuff gets returned. I will rewrite the SKU on it. Just keeps it simple. It goes back in the same tote. A lot of times when people return stuff, it's because it didn't fit, because they didn't look at this, they didn't know their size, and they didn't look at the measurements. So totally fine, and I'm happy to see these sell again, and I will take these downstairs and fill them. So all right, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is how we refill the tote. So once the 30 items are sold, actually most of the time, not all 30 items are sold when I do this. So when 10 or less items are left, I usually like to shoot for less than 10, but sometimes I just really need a space to put stuff, and a tote is like so empty. Like maybe it has 10 items, but the 10 items are pretty small, and I have a lot of big stuff I need to list. So what I do is I'm going to use this as an example, and I will take it downstairs as well so I can show you exactly how I do it, and how I check and make sure we still have all the stuff that's supposed to be in this tote, and it's all still listed, because we don't want stuff that's just sitting in a tote that's not listed. That's just taking up space and wasting time, where something could be listed and closer to selling, rather than just sitting and not being listed. So I have this tote. This has 11 items left in it. So a little over what I usually shoot for, but I needed one for the sake of this video, so I went ahead and pulled this one. A lot of our totes are pretty full right now. I've actually been adding more totes. That's why we are currently at 4,400. I think last week I was only at 4,300. So yeah, we're gonna take this downstairs and I will show you guys exactly how I do it. Okay. All right, I'm now down in the office and I brought our tote of things, the random numbers that I pulled. The tote that was kind of almost empty, 11 items left in it, and we're gonna go through. I'm going to search each item on my active listings. So you have to be on a laptop or desktop to do this. You can't do this on your phone unless you are searching by the brand, but I like to search by the SKU to make sure, one, that the SKU is correct, because there's been a couple times I run into SKUs that are incorrect, so it's nice that I can change it before it sells, so then when it sells, it's correct. But also it's just a lot faster if something is folded up, and like I can tell these are Lucky brand jeans, but if it's folded up where I can't see the brand, I don't want to have to take it out of the bag. I'd rather just look at the SKU on it. If you go to your listings and then click on active, there is a little search bar. You can click here and you can search by SKU right here. It might look a little different on your computer depending on what kind of computer you're on. So we are going to search all these, make sure they're listed. If they're listed and the listings look good, I will peel the number that it is off of here and I'm going to throw it away, which is kind of sad, I know, but that's just how, that's like one of the downsides of this SKU system. And I would like to get to the point where I'm only having to refill once the tote is pretty much empty, but a lot of our stuff just hasn't been selling as quickly as I'd like it to. So that's one of my New Year's resolutions. It's been to pick up better stuff that's gonna sell quicker. So you guys can hold me accountable to that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this and get ourselves some more numbers so that we can get to listing. All right, so this is 1892. It looks like these must have gotten returned because it's written in Sharpie. I'm not sure, I don't remember. So I'm gonna type in 1892, enter. Another thing you can do with this, as you're checking on your listings, you can go ahead and relist it. Relisting is great. It renews your listing and helps you sell it quicker. But for me, I don't really like to do that because I cross list and it kind of throws off my listings on my cross listing app. It wants to list them twice. And so I usually don't relist, but I do like to check and just make sure. It looks like this item has been listed since August 10th. So quite a while, 5 or 6 months. And it is discounted. So, and I have views and watchers. So if I have views and watchers and it's discounted, I usually don't worry about it and expect that it will sell soon. So 1892, I'm going to peel off and I'm going to throw this away. All right, now I will continue that with our other 10 items. All finished with that, and now I have a sheet of numbers ready to go. I actually found 2 items that I'm gonna go ahead and donate and get rid of. These are some Athleta Girl leggings, and I think they were originally listed for $10 or $15, and they were discounted all the way down to $6. So even if they did sell, they'd only sell for like $6 right now, and it just didn't seem worth it to me for it to be taking up space. So I'm gonna go ahead and donate these. And same with these. These are some Paul Ralph Lauren plaid shorts. It said that they were flawed in my listing. I'm not really sure what's wrong with them. But same thing, they were discounted all the way to $6. Even though I did pay for these and I'm having to get rid of them, I don't think I paid very much for them, so I'm not too worried about it. Alright, so I just wanted to talk about some pros and cons for this SKU system in regards to other people's. So I have seen other people do SKUs with just their numbers. They keep going and they don't replace their numbers like I am doing. And I personally like replacing my numbers because then the tote, the front of the label tote, the people that do this don't have a label on the front of the tote. I like having a label on the front of the tote. That's just me, so maybe your preference would be different. I also like not having to type in, this is a very small thing, but I like only having to type in 4 numbers at most. So since I'm in the thousands, I don't see myself getting more than 10,000 listings ever. So since I'm in the thousands, I just have to type in 4 numbers every time I list a clothing item. The third pro I would say for me is I'm constantly going through my inventory. So around every 6 months is when I'm refilling a tote, whether there's 10 items in it, 5 items in it. I would say on average it's around 6 months, give or take. So every 6 months I'm looking at the items that are in that tote. I'm going through it. Maybe I'm getting rid of some like these. Maybe I'm dropping the prices if it's not already discounted. I'm just also making sure that it's listed because sometimes if your listings are up too long, eBay will take them down. And so I like this because it forces me to check on my items, whereas if I had a different SKU system, I would think it would take for me a lot of motivation to go and check on every single item and make sure I have it, make sure it's listed, make sure it's getting discounted properly, make sure the listing is up to date. So I like that this forces me to do it. I would say some cons. I think paper boxes or cardboard. Why am I saying paper? Cardboard boxes would be a lot cheaper option than these plastic totes. I would say in regards to that, another pro though, I think these plastic totes will last a lot longer and are a lot more efficient with water damage. If we were to get a leak in our garage or wherever we have our stuff stored, the plastic totes would still be usable and would dry really quickly. Whereas usually cardboard boxes get destroyed if there's enough water. Another con I would say is even if I am selling a lot per a day, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm selling a bunch of stuff from one tote. So that's why I run into a lot of the time not having space and having to create more totes, like getting higher and higher in my SKU. Thankfully, I still have space in order to do that, but not everyone has that kind of space. So I do think that the cardboard box method is great. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about too, just look up some how I sort my inventory, eBay, on YouTube. A lot of other resellers on YouTube do it. And basically they are able to just shift everything, and so it clears up a lot of space for them. Whereas I'm having to wait until hopefully everything in one tote will sell. So that is a con, but yeah, like I said, I don't think there's any one SKU method that's perfect. This is just the one that I use, and I hope that it was helpful to you. Maybe you can take some tips from it, or it just helps you decide how you want to store your clothes. But yes, if you are selling clothes, I would highly recommend a SKU system of some kind, especially if you have 100 items or more. It just gets to be a lot finding things when you're selling more than one item a day. So yes, highly recommend this system. Alright, that is all I have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it and it helped you out with your storage in some way. If it did, please give this video a like and consider subscribing down below to see more reselling content like this. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!